So you said this is the convention Bobby's speaking at?
Yeah, I didn't expect him to be invited to a Bigfoot convention of all things. But, it sounds pretty cool. There's some really cool panels on this one. It looks like they have one on formations. They got one about the history of Sasquatch.
But what's his?
I'm looking for it. I haven't found it yet. Okay. Sex 101 with a Sasquatch?
Okay. Oh, is this his co-speaker? Thank you for tuning in to the Free Rotation and listening to me, Angie, and Bobby.
Hi.
And Tit Flopper.
Tit Flopper.
Also known as your friendly neighborhood sassy squatch.
Hey.
Also known as Beckles.
Hi, guys.
And good hair.
Listen, there are very few things I'm skilled at, and it's talking like a drag queen. That's probably the only one.
We're getting hate mail now.
And a small Asian child.
Oh, yeah. Or Annie.
Annie.
You want me to do Annie? You want to play too?
That's illegal.
Oh, okay, never
You
mind.
go to prison for that. Yeah.
Annie from League of Legends, Bobby.
Oh, Tibbers.
Yeah.
Tibbers. Something's wrong with Tibbers. Can we start off by talking about that first?
Okay. Oh, yeah.
When you summon Tibbers in League, he just stands there now.
Really?
And then Zillion threw a bomb on him, and he chased me down. I was Annie, and he killed me with the bomb on him.
The fuck?
Like, the only time you move is when you're chasing me with a bomb on your head. Annie, help me.
I told Angie it was similar to Charizard in the first season of Pokemon.
Oh, yeah.
Where he would, or Ash would summon Charizard, and he's like, I choose you, and he's, sleeping.
I had literally summoned Tibbers on top of a Graves head, and Tibbers stood there. The Graves had maybe 20 hit points left. One Tibbers swipe, he was done. And Tibbers is like,
A few seconds later, Angie's dead.
Yeah, Tibbers gets a bomb thrown on him, and he immediately comes after me.
Durka.
Anyways, we're not going to discuss Tibbers, even though I dropped a good Tibbers earlier.
Is that a poop euphemism?
Yeah.
It's a poopemism.
Dropping our Tibbers.
Ooh, I like
Ooh,
that.
Good one.
Are you poopinism?
No, you know what? What is this episode about, Angie?
It's about Sasquatch, the Bigfoots, which we did find out that they are Bigfoots.
Now, how did we find all of this great
We
information
went to a
out?
convention.
What convention was
A
it?
Bigfoot convention.
Yeah, the Georgia Bigfoot Conference.
First
Yay!
annual.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
It was up in the beautiful Clayton, Georgia. I love the mountains. It was actually a pretty drive, so it was well worth
Rabin County?
Rabin County, yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised. Less banjos, more people.
Yeah, it was very touristy. That was a nice surprise.
Yeah, I figured there'd be a fuck ton of trailer parks, and there wasn't. I was happy about that.
Bobby only looks for the trailer parks as he's traveling.
I feel like we didn't look close enough.
I'm sure if we had turned off one of the side roads
Like
that
off of the court square?
yeah, or something like that, then that's when it would have happened. But that's okay.
Yo, wanna buy some meth?
Sure.
I want to tweak.
Found the dark web. It's right here.
But yeah, we went to the Bigfoot conference. Now,
Mm-hmm.
for some of us who are quite the skeptical potatoes, that's me. I was a little unsure as to how it would go, but it was very nice. I was pleasantly surprised because I just didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if it was going to be like you just don't know what you expect when you go to things you're not used to.
John was a great host. He was very, what's the word? Hospitable.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good word.
Yes.
Good word.
John was a great host. He was very knowledgeable. He offered a wide selection and variety of speakers, which I frankly enjoyed because even though they didn't really know each other and came from a variety of backgrounds, it all meshed into basically a picture, the same picture. Then you had like a weird demonology stroke over the top.
Yeah, that was.
Just in case you weren't traumatized.
When that was the one thing it turned to was demonology. I'm like, oh wow, Sasquatch is in everything.
That's why they waited to the end to let that guy on, because they knew it was gonna off the rails.
It was kind of traveling down the street of all on the same page, and then demonology is like the one that you're like, is it related to Sasquatch? But it was an interesting panel itself.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think it was more so it was nice to see that it wasn't just Sasquatch, it was like the paranormal panels and all of that, because you get those at Dragon Con, but you never really get to like have an intimate panel.
Yeah, because Dragon Con's gotten so bloated after a couple years. I still love Dragon Con. Dragon Con's the shit, but it's gotten really bloated, which is a good thing, because then like you can have smaller cons around it and people will come, but that'd still be the flagship.
Yeah, and there, with the panels at Dragon Con that are sci-fi related and paranormal related, you have to be able to still cater to the bigger audience to get it, but having a panel that was strictly for Bigfoot and people who were proponents of Bigfoot like Angie, it was a good solid start to I hope is going to be like an annual thing in Georgia, because there are a lot of sightings of Bigfoot in Georgia.
Yeah. And we're going to be at the October one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's exciting.
And we're going to have our own table.
Yeah.
We're going to have fucking cards and shit.
We are going to be more prepared than we were this
time. So y'all come see us. We'll get dates later, and y'all come see us.
Well, and I think the good news is about the like us going the first time is you just don't know what to expect. And this was more so like, I want to go and experience it so we can talk about it. So, Angie, do you want to give everybody a little bit of, not a background?
And the reason we really wanted to go to the Bigfoot conference and why it's something that's close to, maybe not our hearts for all of us, but it's on our minds. It's because Georgia and the East Coast, as well as the West Coast, have numerous Bigfoot sightings.
Yes, we do.
Especially in this area, we have like our local Sasquatch. I mean, we have dogmen too, but that wasn't really discussed. They made a point of saying they're just really focused on Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
And so especially up in Blue Ridge, Georgia, in the mountains, there's a lot of Bigfoot sightings.
Oh, yeah.
Even as early as early April of this year, there was a Bigfoot sighting.
Already? Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
That's I don't know what I would do if I saw a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Like I guess it depends maybe on my frame of mind. Like if I like heard something and it was like a attention building, I probably would take out my phone. But it was just like a thing like that. I'd be like, oh fuck, why did I take a picture?
Yeah, and that was one of the things that the speakers talked about, where people are always saying, you didn't get a picture, but it happens so quick. And when you see something you're not expecting, like a Bigfoot or a UFO, your mind doesn't instantly jump to pull up my camera and take a picture of it. You kind of have that frozen moment.
Well, I think it's also like we live in a day and age where everybody just assumes you're on your phone. But it's one thing to see like a terrible car crash, jump up and start taking a video of it.
Mm-hmm.
When you just see something that you can't explain, and like for me, where I explain everything away regardless of what it could possibly be if it's not related to the paranormal, the first thing I'm not thinking is, hey, let me go get that on video. My first thing I'm thinking is, you know what? That's a little strange. I'm going to leave.
And let's be honest, people who have caught video and pictures of Bigfoot are just dismissed anyway.
Yep.
Regardless of whether you caught it or not, people aren't going to believe you.
It's fake. You're wrong. You're crazy.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah,
Uh-huh.
blah, blah.
Oh,
It's a French
it was
science.
an edit. It's blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So regardless of whether you get it on video or not, because there have been multiple pictures and videos of Bigfoot, sounds, all sorts of things. And it's just dismissed because people don't want to believe it. Like, if you, Becky, as a skeptic, saw a Bigfoot in the dark, your mind might immediately just be like, you know what, I bet that was a bear.
Yeah. Well, that would be or something like I couldn't explain.
I would see a pine cone fall and be like, that was a Bigfoot. Telling y'all.
So.
And I would convince Bobby it was a Bigfoot. I'm
You would.
absolutely positive he'd be like, yeah, I think so. Where's my holy water?
Thanks. I fucking hate you. I should never brought that shit up. But no, like going back to being a bear, I'd be more scared of it not being a bear, but being a moose.
Oh, yeah, moose are scary.
Fuck yeah, those horns could beat the shit out of you. Antlers at least could fuck you up.
Angie told me she saw a moose like when she lived in Canada, and that it was as big as the car.
Its legs reach the top of the car. It's still bigger after that. And one of the girls who worked at my ex. One of the girls who worked for her was late for work one morning because she was chased by a moose, and it treed her. And she's like, "There's no coming down. Like, a moose will kill you." I was like, "A moose will kill you?"
Well, and the thing is, like, the thing is here is that we do have a lot of black bears. We do have a lot of bears in general in this area. It's just sometimes there are things that you can't explain. And I chalk it up to that. When I say I'm a skeptic, what I mean is that I believe in it in the sense that if it happens, cool. At least, like, I had a little bit of a sense that it would exist and that I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not one of those people who are like, there is no science behind this. It doesn't make any sense what you're talking about.
Well, one of the speakers, and we'll have a full recording of her lecture after the program, so be sure to check that out. She said that there's a difference between... she said true belief, like people say seeing is believing, but she said she believes that believing is seeing, which is two different things. If you believe in it, you'll see it. Seeing may not necessarily mean you believe it, like we were just talking about you seeing a Bigfoot and thinking, oh, it's a bear.
Yeah.
So seeing isn't always believing, but believing, you might actually see it.
Well, here's the thing. My thing is, like, I would love to see a ghost or see paranormal activity. But mostly because
But then again, you don't.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, I would be okay with it because I don't think it can hurt me. If I actually saw a Bigfoot out there that's like, hey, I'm a Bigfoot, that thing could probably rip my shit up.
And that brings us to a whole other part of the convention that I wasn't expecting. Is it was pretty much unanimous thinking, no matter who the speaker was, that Bigfoot wasn't quite natural.
Right.
In the fact that he's paranormal or supernatural, or
a mixture,
alien.
Or even an alien, yeah.
So it was interesting because I had never thought about that before, and like the first two speakers discussed just Bigfoot sightings. The second speaker discussed the and this was part of your skeptical side coming out. He discussed like the Blair Witch projects in the woods.
Yeah, the thing with that was that I could attribute. There wasn't like some stuff, and I'm not saying it about the panel itself. I'm saying like the idea that like Bigfoot is making these formations out there that can kind of be attributed to either a natural formation or maybe just human fuckery.
Yeah, some of them you're like, that just looks like lightning hit a tree and pushed it over.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Like,
but then some of them, Becky, like the asterisk formations.
I can get behind maybe something.
And the X's that are literally tied together.
Okay. I can agree with that there's not a straight out explanation for it other than maybe it's human interaction with the woods and that somebody just left it there. Like somebody maybe just with those X's, maybe that was them marking how they got home.
Seems like a lot of fucking work for a person to do that.
Yeah.
I'd more or less believe that if they were smaller, like branches, rather than full trees.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe you missed the part where they said these are full trees in an X formation.
Yeah, and I agree. That's what I'm saying. Like, is that there's something I can't explain it away. That's what I'm saying. Is like I can't explain a big ass tree that's turned into an X or an asterisk, but
you can't pray it away.
I can't pray it away.
Like one of the questions you had at the conference was you couldn't figure out where the correlation between these structures and Bigfoot. So like maybe something else made it. Why do we jump to Bigfoot?
Right, and that's
maybe it was a bear.
Well, I think that's just because, like, as a lawyer,
Jaspered.
True. Well, Well, as a lawyer, I have to make a logical connection from A to B to C to D, and it felt like some of this stuff was jumped from A to C immediately without it. Like, I hate to say this, but what if an alien had made those formations? You know what I mean? Like, you're just attributing it to Bigfoot, just to attribute it to Bigfoot.
If we attribute this, maybe we can attribute Stonehenge from way back to being a Bigfoot structure.
Exactly. Which I don't think.
I would think it'd be more of a Yeti thing because it's further up north.
Yeah.
So.
Or Loch Ness Monster.
Well, like we talked about before, though, there's Stonehenges in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about the current one here, which, by the way, I want to go visit there.
Deal. Let's do it sometime.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
The Georgia Guidestones.
Yeah. But there's Stonehenges under Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
They found
what?
Several Stonehenges. Lake Michigan is creepy as fuck.
Yeah, they got their own lake monster too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's like a Loch Ness Monster like we have, but
the Loch Ness Monster carries a Glock Ness.
It's a Glock Ness Monster because it's in Detroit.
Yeah, it's got a gun.
Oh, that was good.
We're making fun of crime
Yay!
and that kind of shit. Yay.
Well, and apparently we have a lot of LGBTQIA Bigfoot because there's a lot of triangle structures.
Oh, true.
Jesus.
You know what?
Christ.
They were the proponents of gender equality before it was a thing.
I mean, it's.
I don't know what to say to that.
That's great. Fuck you guys. We're progressive.
They were progressive before we were progressive. They are the more evolved versions.
We're the most
of
progressive podcast.
Yes. talking about Bigfoot. You know, that should be a panel. Is Bigfoot progressive?
I think the answer here is yes.
Clearly, I mean...
Well, that brings us to the next speaker that we saw, and we all have a list of their names and stuff, so you can look them up. Okay, so the next speaker was Robin McCrae, and she discussed how you could, like, Bigfoots are all around you. And she knows this because as a small child, and well up into her adulthood, she's seen them and she speaks to them. They have a form of mind speak. She was the first to say that they're paranormal.
What is mind speak? I am a ignorant listener.
Oh, mind speak is basically telepathy.
Oh, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's more so, if you say mind speak, it's better than everybody's assuming when you say I have telepathic powers, because there's a connotation there that you're like saying
it's
something.
considered an actual language. Like you could mind speak with Boo if you had mind speak capabilities.
It's kind of like what the dog whisperer does.
Mm-hmm. He mind speak because he's convinced he knows. Oh, and the cat guy.
Oh yeah, the cat guy who can like help your cat not be a little shithead.
I mean, and I know a lot of it is studying their behavior, but they also, I believe, can mind speak because they really know what is causing the cat's problems.
I'm glad you told me because I didn't know what it meant.
Yeah.
Well, you're learning today.
No, because like she's a mind speaker when they're talking, introducing her. Like, I think I turned to you, Becky, and like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Well, I asked her before the thing because I talked to her a little bit because she liked my shirt.
Oh yeah.
So she's telling me she loved that shirt, and I just asked her, could she mind speak with animals, and she said she does. She has a friend who'll call her and be like, "Can you ask my cat, like, where she hid my keys?" And she said sometimes animals choose to respond to you, but they're like people. Sometimes they're like.
Sometimes they're just sassy.
Yeah. Sasky Squatch. I said Sasky.
Sasky Squatch.
That's a whole different kind of Bigfoot.
Sasky Squatch sounds like the Jewish version.
That's like the skanky.
Say, yeah. Oh yeah, that's the skanky version
one.
Who works.
Hello,
like
I'm Skasky
the
Squatch.
corner forest bar, like
chewing gum. Hey girl.
We got progressive Bigfoots and skanky Bigfoot.
She stands in that tree corner.
You want? She's like smoking and.
Oh my god!
I think I blew out the smoke because It
doesn't matter.
I'm not a smoker, okay?
But apparently, this speaker actually was verified by science that she could do it.
Yes, and she's had multiple people come to her house, including the Russians. She's gone and spoken in Russian. She was made national news. She was all over CNN and Fox News when she essentially proved that Bigfoots would visit her. And she and a geneticist proved that from different hair and stuff she had got collected around her house and stuff, and her what's it called? Your land.
Your property?
Your land, that Bigfoots had human genomes.
Mm-hmm. See, she's so nice. I would have been like those Bigfoots. Motherfuckers, you're getting a lint roller and you're cleaning all this shit up. This is disgusting.
And she was the first person I'd heard say that, they have a society like we do.
Yeah.
And she said just like there's good and bad people, there's good and bad Sasquatch. Good and bad Bigfoot. So you might have a Bigfoot that's just sick of your shit and steals your kids or attacks you because it doesn't like something you did.
Wait, Bigfoot steals kids? I like them already.
Yeah, some of the Bigfoots do.
Poor kids.
Kind of like change.
That was what the first
speaker
fairies talked about, was how the Bigfoots would take kids as punishment to you.
Maybe changelings used the form of a Bigfoot to take kids.
Well, I was about to say that's interesting that strand of storytelling still exists. I'm not saying story isn't fictional. I'm just saying in general. Because in Ireland, you believe that changelings could switch out your children from healthy children to sickly children. And that was done by the Fae. So, I mean, if you believe in paranormal, otherworldly beings, it's possible maybe Sasquatch is a paranormal, otherworldly being.
I had a brain blast.
Okay, go.
Jimmy Neutron. Okay, so you know how there's face circles, right? Maybe those stick formations are the Bigfoot version.
Oh, you know what? Yeah.
Now you're thinking, Bobby. Now you're getting in there.
Mm-hmm.
I did it, Obama.
Yay!
Remind us, we're going to get back around to that when we get to the other speaker.
About Obama?
No. I was talking to Bibby. When we get to the ufology speaker.
Okay. I was like, I don't remember anybody talking about Obama, but okay. We'll go with it.
He doesn't have a birth certificate. He's clearly a Sasquatch.
Oh, go. Let's start that rumor.
Yes, but the Mind Speak lady, Robin, she was the first one to say that they were more paranormal, and one of the things she pointed out was that if a Bigfoot didn't want you to see him or her, he or she would shimmer out of existence. So they have like a cloaking, which I've never heard that. But Bobby, you said you've heard someone refer to the shimmering.
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna shout out to Stuff They Don't Want You to Know podcast. They did a really good Bigfoot episode. You should all check it out after listening to our full episode and everything. But they discussed that, the whole shimmering thing, which it wasn't only just shimmering. They can also, similar to chameleons, that they can like, based on like temperature, blend in.
Yeah. Themselves?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and it makes sense. They've been around that long, and they haven't been they were widely seen, but like not like common. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting enough, links itself to ufology. Like the fact that they can cloak themselves, that's a whole thought process when it comes to aliens in general.
Yeah. And so
extraterrestrials.
Robin, she had a lot of friends and knew a lot of people in the Bigfoot community, but she had never spoken to the ufology lady there, Angela Shear.
Yeah, Angela Shear. Big Buffon lady.
Mm-hmm. And she's the Southeast regional ufologist who works for the government and goes around and takes statements of UFO witnesses.
I would think that would be such an interesting job.
That'd be dope.
Oh, yeah. To see her jacket, like she's wearing a military-style jacket with patches that you earn from field work.
It's like an aviator jacket.
And not to take away from the other speakers, but I came up to her at the very end of it, and I said, I really enjoyed your panel.
Mm-hmm.
And I really appreciated it because I had never heard any of this.
Oh,
never related
yeah.
it.
Oh, she was the best one.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of like breaking things down. Nothing against other speakers, but...
But a lot of time, she really
just presented facts and stuff, and the facts she presented just pretty much led to these conclusions. Like, she didn't have guesswork. She didn't come up there and say, this is what I think or believe. She said, this is what happened.
Yeah, there's a clear connection.
Yeah, these are the documented cases. These are the things we can prove.
I think that's why I liked it. It's because she didn't put her own conclusions on it. She put what historically was shown, what had happened in these events.
And listeners, are you ready to get your mind blown? Because this is something else we didn't know. There is an extreme relevance between UFO and Bigfoot sightings at the exact same time.
That to me was like, I'm sorry,
what?
Yeah, but I think and there is with that, but what they can't figure out is Bigfoot an alien? Is Bigfoot just attracted to the paranormal, or are aliens just cloaking themselves as Bigfoot? We don't know. We don't know.
Well, this goes back to what Robin said. She said that Bigfoot uses mind speak. They're paranormal. They have cloaking, and she said that when they did the genome project on the Bigfoots, it came back that they were an elevated human hybrid. They are the next stage in evolution.
Yeah.
So if we go back to the works of Zachariah Stitchin, where it talks about how humans were basically their DNA project, then maybe they're improving on it.
I don't know. I mean, no, I agree with that, but like, that's what we're going to look like when we get to higher stage evolution, all hairy and shit.
I'm not feeling. I mean, could we like? Well, you know what? I hate to get into this, but that's kind of a sociocultural thing. Is the fact that we're hairless, like.
Yeah. Well, and because we were made in the alien's image. Basically, they're God. We were made in their image.
Not that saying that's not a possibility. I just like wish that if that took me a higher next stage, like I don't want to be all hairy.
Well, let's think about the things that don't work as a person. The sun beats down, burns our skin,
get cancer and die.
Right. We also walk upright. Our arms aren't big enough, like they're not long enough to help us distribute our weight properly. We shrink. Our knees go bad, our hips go bad because we weren't made for this gravity. This environment isn't conducive to humans at all. We can swim, but not well. We can't swim like the other things that can go in the water. Like even a tiger swims better than us.
Unless you're Michael Phelps. That man's a fucking...
He's an elevated human.
No, I was going to say, he's probably like...
He could be one of the next steps, and we don't know.
He could be probably like Merman or something. It could be a thing.
Oh, yeah. But you never relate back to the fact that Sasquatch would... Because it's considered a cryptozoology. It's considered cryptozoology more than anything. So having it relate back to something that is a completely different science than... cryptozoology.
That's right. I mean, the two mesh so well together, and they didn't know each other. They didn't speak beforehand and compare notes and be like, I'm going to mention this, so you mention this.
Yeah.
Because Angela said she had just gotten there. She was in the field and she had gotten in that morning, And Robin had said she had gotten in like the night before. She was telling me that they didn't have time to speak and plan this.
Yeah, it just happened to be what it is.
Happy coincidence.
And
Well,
not
clunky
only
dink.
are Bigfoots tied to UFOs, but they've actually been seen coming out of them several times.
Some of the sightings and the ones that were like what I call, heavy sightings, the ones where it was several people at once saying that these things were showing up. And it kind of makes sense if you think about it, because the sightings where there are Bigfoot generally are also sightings where you've seen stuff like UFO sightings.
Lights in the sky.
Kind of like Skinwalker Ranch almost.
Yeah.
So I have a weird thing. So are the Bigfoot, when they come out of the UFOs, are they the aliens themselves disguised? Are they being experimented on?
Or are they being dropped off?
Yeah, dropped off, and we can use as like drones and stuff.
I was going to say like how we use whales and seals and shit to spy on other countries. Do they use the Sasquatch to do that? Are they our watchers?
Ooh, that's scary.
Yeah.
Maybe the ones that go to LA and San Diego are the Sassy Squad.
The San Francisco.
Progressive.
See?
I'm so fucking progressive.
I'm talking about the Sasquatches.
Oh. Why do we have to put them in a category in a small little box?
Oh my god.
Maybe one of them wants to
Way
be.
to turn it around.
Maybe one of them wants to be a normal person. Beckles.
Maybe.
I want to be where the people are. I can't sing any more of the song because it's copyrighted.
Uh-oh. Let's stop singing it and get back to what we were talking about.
But I think that would be an interesting concept that they're.
She made a deal with the devil, Bobs.
Hey, my entire next rotation's about freaking Lucifer. Okay, let's get there.
That's how she got through law school. That's how she passed the bar.
Those contracts. Oh, that gives me never mind. It's the fact that like it's possible for them to be trying to blend in to watch us, which makes a lot of fucking sense if you think about it.
Yeah, the Mindspeak lady said they're around towns, they're around cities, they're there. And she said you can feel them. They have an energy. So sometimes when you're outside or in your room and you're thinking, I feel like something's watching me.
Yeah.
And you're like so positive something's looking in your window. And she's like, it probably 99.9% is, because she said they're very watchful.
This is why I want a 2-story house, because I ain't wanting anybody.
Wait.
By the way, this goes into the last speaker, right?
Yeah.
But what were you going to say, Bobby?
So you're telling me they watched me whack off?
Yes.
What the fuck?
Probably.
I already had to worry about angels and shit doing that. Now I have to worry about hairy people, invisible hairy people. God fucking damn it.
On a random note, have you ever thought like you're doing something really weird or something you're kind of like, I hope nobody sees me, and then you think, I wonder if my dead relatives are watching me right now.
I want to go back to something else the Mindspeak lady said. Robin.
Yeah.
Robin said, and this was where I kind of had a moment of disbelief, because you guys know I fully believe.
You're super open-minded. You're more minded than me and Becky.
But I had a hard time grasping this. But I guess if they are, when you compare them with UFO, it made even more sense to me. When people are taken by aliens and they come back, they say they don't remember. Most people don't remember. Well, she said, she didn't say that about aliens. She said the Bigfoots, they have the ability to erase your mind of them. They can take your memories of them or what they've said to you, your vision of them. If they don't want you to know they're there, you won't remember anything.
But that's the thing is, like, those explanations, the cloaking explanations, stuff like that, where it's like, we haven't seen them because they're doing this stuff. I feel like it's just an excuse to make an existence or you know what I mean? Something that doesn't exist exists. Mm-hmm. Like, it's one thing to say they exist, we just haven't found them, or we haven't found any, or we're still...
But we would have.
Yeah.
Right. Or any sort of, like, there's evidence, it's circumstantial evidence, but it's evidence. Versus being like, hey, they're like the Men in Black, they can erase your mind. Like, that to me...
That's racist.
Well, it's... Oh, my God. But but my point being is, like, that's what puts people who are skeptics into that realm of like, you're just making shit up.
And usually those are the same people who believe in God. So normally I just dismiss it. You can believe in an immaculate birth, but you can't believe in a Bigfoot.
Right.
I'm not saying I don't believe in the immaculate. I almost said earth.
Yeah.
But when she said that, I started thinking, going back to the UFOs, and if they are an alien species or come from there, they probably very well could cloak themselves.
Yeah.
The the ufologist Angela talked about how they had on video and on sound. So the video was manipulated, but she had sounds of. Remember, she couldn't get it to play.
Yeah.
But they had 3 hours worth of sounds, but they lost 3 hours of time. Nobody could remember it.
Right.
But when I asked her about it, it was aliens speaking and what sounded like Bigfoot noises. So it could be real.
You think they were talking shit to each other?
I think so.
Oh yeah, they're like, oh, it's their rap battle.
Oh, that'd be sick.
Oh my god, they're like rap battling off, but in their own way. That's so funny.
Yeah.
That's a hilarious image.
I do enjoy that image.
Like this entire thing is traumatic to humans, but meanwhile it was like in a massive rap battle going on.
It was a turf battle.
Yeah, it was a turf battle. They had a dance off afterwards.
And
Bigfoot could totally beat aliens.
Oh yeah.
Because I can see Bigfoot breakdancing. I could totally see it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he seems like he'd be able to.
But she said she just lost 3 hours of time, and the Mind Speak lady Robin said that if you remember them, it's because they've chosen you. And she said, back to another speaker before her, said that they, let people see them who nobody's going to believe.
Right.
You'll just get discredited. Unfortunately, she didn't. She has actually, although CNN and Fox News tried, she wasn't very well received in the news world. It did make world news.
Yeah, it made waves.
It's because it's a proponent of whether it's just a fringe science. Like it's one thing to say that gravity exists because it's well proven and not well proven, but it's a theory that has not been disproven. But when you start talking about things that people only have circumstantial evidence to prove, you start getting in that realm of disbelief.
Right. Well, people forget that it's still a theory of relativity.
Yeah.
It's a theory. So, when you think about these things, just remember some stuff you take for fact is still just a theory.
And I agree with that, but that was my thing with the cloaking is it's just an excuse.
Yeah.
That's an excuse for why we haven't seen it.
I think everybody, the way our perception, what we can believe is really based on your perception.
Yeah.
And we all, I think, reach that moment of we have to suspend logic. But I always think about back in the old times. If we took our technology and, say, one person saw a time traveler and talked about our cell phones and our cars, they wouldn't be believed.
Right.
It's so...
Witchcraft.
Yeah.
Burn them.
It's so out of their concept of understanding, they wouldn't believe it.
Well, on top of it, if you look at the book of Revelation, I hate to bring religion into this, but the prophets and the book talk about these flying contraptions in the air and all that, which could be attributed to airplanes and stuff like that. You take that into consideration.
About the things that looked like scorpions, that's easily a bulldozer.
Right.
When you think about it now, you can put it in context.
So, in context, and there's an entire mythos behind Christianity at that point based on those Revelation. So to say that you can't believe in Bigfoot is almost a fallacy at that point.
Right. So this takes us to the very last speaker, who was a demonologist. He was a theologian. And, you're thinking, what does Bigfoot and demonology have in common? Well, when you get to his theory that Bigfoots are descendants of the Nephilim, and then it starts making sense. He says that he believes that the Bigfoots are watchers. And if you believe in the Nephilim and that storyline, then you have to give credence to the fact that Zechariah Stitchin from the Red Sea Scrolls, the Dead Sea Scrolls.
The Red Sea Scrolls.
Well, there's some that did come from the Red Sea, but these were the Dead Sea. It talks about the aliens who genetically created us, modified us, and the Ark was the name of the ship that kept the DNA on board.
Right.
So when they flooded the earth and wiped it out, they were trying to get rid of their mistakes. Because the watchers they had sent to watch the first people, we were here to mine stuff for them. Why do we put so much value on gold? Literally every person has a value on gold and precious metals. And gold is, from working in the aerospace industry, gold is one of the key best ingredients to build massive turbine
it's so
propulsion.
Conductive.
Yeah. People think it's copper, but gold.
Yeah, okay.
It's fantastic.
It's because gold's rare, is why.
And that's the thing is
But
gold,
we put value on things we shouldn't have from way back in time.
Because back in the day, tinfoil used to, or was it aluminum or tinfoil? I think it was aluminum. You see worth a fuck ton.
Oh no, it's tin.
Tin used to be worth a shit ton, but then they realized, we have a bunch of this. It's not that expensive. That value anymore.
So these people who were sent to watch, even the Bible says they sinned against man, which sinned against, and that terminology means coitus.
Yep.
They sinned against snakes. They sinned against apes. They sinned against all the animals.
How do you do snakes?
I don't know. I'm not quite sure.
Well, if they're like this otherworldly being, I'm sure they figured it out.
I'm going to look it up.
But yeah, so they sin against it, and he's of the mindset that what if the Bigfoots are these Nephilim hybrids based on their height, the fact that they are supernatural and have cloaking and mind speak, maybe they're Nephilim.
Yeah.
But whereas the other people didn't think you should, okay, so mind speak lady said they're all right. They're not really violent. You have your bad apples. UFologist lady, pretty much, when they came off the UFOs, remember the Silent Invasion story she told? And that's a book you can look up called The Silent Invasion. They were angry and attacked the people.
Yeah.
And then the demonologist said if he saw a Bigfoot, he said, I suggest you run. Because they're supernatural.
Right.
Not just paranormal. They're supernatural, and they have no good.
Right.
So it was really interesting how it's like every speaker just went this full circle.
And there were paranormal investigators, and there were a couple of other speakers who talked about like the science of Bigfoot.
Yeah.
But that is something that everybody kind of knows at this point. It's not, we don't have to go into the like what size a Bigfoot looks like or where they've been spotted in exactly their region and what type we should be looking for, because that's something that's always been talked about. It's just the fact that these were new ideas that even as somebody like Angie who's studied or read about cryptozoology and Bigfoot, this is all something brand new.
Oh, it was. And I know that when it got to the demonology guy, he was super young. He wasn't... I thought he was a decent speaker, but he wasn't a convention speaker. He wasn't a conventional speaker. There we go.
He was a pastor.
Yeah. And I just thought that he made a valid point. I don't know if I believe that, but it is something to think about.
Yeah, it's a cool theory.
Yeah.
Right.
The pop
And
it would tie in to the ufology.
Well, I think this was
it
like
just tied in completely.
what I liked about it was like the conference itself is that it sort of tied all of these different ideas about Bigfoot into one day to talk about the different ideas and different theories related to Bigfoot. It wasn't necessarily like it's cryptozoology, it's this, it's that, it relates back to Goat Man, it relates back to Dog Man, blah, 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 stuff that everybody knows. It was more so, here are some of the ideas that people are studying regarding about Bigfoot.
They're having another one in October, which is more like a festival type convention. And we're going to be there with our own table. So you guys feel free to come out to the Bigfoots.
It is funny because there were other podcasts there. But it's funny because our podcast is like kind of into that. You know what I mean? It's like we are almost, I would say almost more of a pop culture podcast, but with a little tint of with the fandom relating back, and that being one of Angie's fandoms is
we dip our toe into this stuff.
Yes.
Meanwhile, there are podcasts that were there that are completely into like sci-fi, or not sci-fi, but science, like the base science, French sciences, cryptozoology, stuff like that. So we are like the weird, like it's weird to be the outlier in something that's already an outlier.
We're the fucking weirdos there.
We are.
Like
who are these? We were, yeah.
Who's who? Like who are these normies?
It's funny because we had just as FYI, yesterday or Saturday, May 4th was free comic book day, and that was like right up our normal alley for everything. Here's our stuff, gaming, nerd culture, podcast or fandom stuff like that, and now it's like we're dipping our toes into the other stuff. So, I guess that's a good thing about having a podcast.
And I had done a lot of research over the years, like really delved into this, but like Bobby said, we dipped our toe in. I was pretty sure I was at least knee deep. I found out no, I was just in the ankles.
Yeah.
There's so much more out there.
There's just so much to learn about. But
I guess that's one thing I look forward to about dying is that all the knowledge we'll have available to us when we're part of the energy,
like the thought mind.
Yeah, we'll know it, and then we'll be reborn and just not know it all. I think that's what's so sad about the human condition is that we come from this place of energy where we do know everything, and we come into these bodies and we forget everything, and we spend our whole lives trying to get back to that place of knowledge.
Yeah.
But we're afraid of dying and going back to it. So it seems like a constant struggle of your soul. Does it want the, corporal pleasure, or do you want knowledge?
This is a very weirdly deep episode.
Yeah, and maybe when you reach that hive mind, so to speak, you can choose. Do you want to reincarnate? Do you want to be back in the body, or do you choose to go on and be part of that eternal knowledge?
Nah, give me that body.
The hive mind.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I would choose the body again.
I think I would choose the mind. I would be okay with it.
No,
well, I think as long as I'm gonna die and know again.
Yeah.
Nah, mine can't get drunk, girl.
I will say the one thing I did want is I was hoping when Trump became president, because he has such a big mouth, that he would somehow let everybody know if Bigfoot and aliens were real, but that hasn't happened yet.
I don't think they would actually... You remember one of the big things when he took office was they weren't really telling him stuff.
Yeah.
They weren't giving him... I imagine there's like these dusty old like human flesh bound books. Like, and
I'm a wizard.
they dig them up from the Vatican and be like, here's what you need to know. Because remember, like, think of what Obama looked after 1 month in office.
Yeah.
Rough.
I mean, it's like, what shit did
what
he
happened?
find out?
A lot of knowledge.
I mean, I'm sure it's a lot of government secrets we don't know about. But yeah, it was a good experience.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad we went.
I'm excited to go back.
Me
Also,
too.
we got a free lunch.
Yeah. I'm telling you, John
That's
John
good.
hooked
he
us up.
was fantastic.
I didn't know what to expect, and I felt, I felt bad because it wasn't like we were like scheduled stuff to
Right.
be there.
Well, and think about how, like, we just pieced together the speakers. Think about how brilliantly he planned it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, for it to flow that way.
Yeah. I would also say also the booths and the other vendors there, they're pretty cool.
Oh, especially the author.
Yeah.
And his artist wife who draws the book covers.
Yep.
What's his name? Because
Jeff
I'm
Strand.
terrible. Yeah.
Book's real good. I'm reading The Haunted Forest Tour.
It's good
Mhm.
shit.
It's real good.
Bobby's taking some on his cruise.
Yeah, I'm going on cruise. I get to
It's
be
been 84 years.
yeah. I get to be away from Georgia. I get to drink all day and get a tan and go flirt with
Ooh.
women instead of
And
guys.
Sassy Squatch.
Yes,
And
Sassy Squatch is
Sassy
coming
Squatch.
with. I bought her a one piece and she looks phenomenal in it.
She's the missing
Girl.
link between your leg. Never mind. I'm going to say thigh leg.
Oh Christ Almighty!
The missing link is that it's the same Bobby's penis.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't have one. It's a joke.
Surprise!
Oh.
But yeah.
I'm a Nephilim.
So you've sinned against a lot of stuff.
Yeah. After a while, it just falls off.
And we're back to the shenanigans.
There we go.
Okay.
Moreland's veiny penis. There we go.
Okay, now we're full circled.
No, that's the store. Awkward.
I miss Mormon.
Me too.
I'm waiting for it.
Oh, hey, Becky.
You know, I really...
Spotify.
Fuck you.
No SoundCloud.
Hey, go to our website at TheFreeRotation.com to get our social media links. And we're affiliates of Wiki
I
Geeks.
feel let down.
Oh, snap. I guess that's what happens when I get interrupted for 20 plus episodes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just had a cat ass on my face.
Oh, man, that sucks.
Wait,
Yeah.
do we only do that for 20 plus episodes? We did this at the beginning.
We have 76-ish episodes, and people used to be respectful.
We missed the.
No, we never were, Becky. You're lying.
We missed the 16. I missed the 69th episode. I didn't make 69.
Yeah, you
joke.
did.
I'm so fucking mad right now.
You should be mad at yourself.
I am so fucking mad. God damn a baby.
You know what? We had to stop actually putting episode numbers because of Apple and its podcasting rules. So you just need to double check when we get to
I'm gonna count them all.
Yeah, sounds good. Alrighty. Well, thanks for listening, guys.
Wait, Boo had something to say. Turn
Issa?
her around.
Issa, do you want to say
Boo-boo?
something?
Okay, say it into the mic.
Say it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, that was
Wow,
fascinating. Thank
there
you.
we go.
Thank you, Boo.
Do you think Bigfoots talk to cats?
Guaranteed.
End the podcast episode.
Oh, you should write a book about that.
All right.
Turn it off.
But she just provided.
Ow! Fuck! You scratched my leg.
I thought a
bit
Bigfoot
me.
got you.
Oh,
I thought a
that
Bigfoot got you.
Jujitsu.
Did you think a Bigfoot got you?
I thought it was a fucking goat, man.